What was it like the first day of riding in Hong Kong?
It was very enjoyable, I must say. I had 8 rides. It was a big day. I got some good support off John Moore, and had 2 rides off David Ferraris, and Benno Young gave me a ride, so I had some good support off a wide variety of trainers, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. I didn't ride any winners or anything, but I felt the day was a positive. Really learnt a lot about how they ride over here, and like I said, I felt I took a lot out of it, and the day was a positive.
Here's the first one for the young Australian hoop, Sam Clipperton. Ace King wins it easily. Clipperton and Moreira and Clipperton, rewarding flyer magnetism, then Invention Master. What a titanic struggle. Rewarding flyer will not surrender, rewarding flyer.
How do they ride here compared to Sydney?
I think the early pace of a race is very quick. Sydney's, they race just as tight and competitive, and it's no different there, but in Sydney they seem to get out of the barriers and then they'll steady up and then they'll go again, where here it seems to be happening the whole way along, and yeah, that's the sort of thing I found a bit different, but yeah, it's just riding here is all about adapting and adapting to the circumstances here, and yeah, it's really good. I'm loving every bit of it here.
And how long have you been here? You came here pretty early, right?
Yeah, I came here a bit early, so I arrived on the 7th of August, and I arrived with my girlfriend Morgan, and we just thought we'd get over here and experience the place and see the sights, and you know, at the end of the day, this is our new home, so we thought we'd get here early and settle in. I got an opportunity to ride a lot of track work and get fit, and I think it's paid off. I'm getting some good early support, and things are going well.
I mean, away from racing, I mean, you mentioned you're here with your girlfriend and partner, Morgan. What does she think about it?
She's really enjoying it. You know, we both getting out during the day and a lot, and going for big hikes and seeing the sights, as I said, and you know, it's definitely a great experience for both of us, and we're both very much enjoying it.
Now, when usually a new young jockey from, especially Sydney, comes out here, Zach Burton is the first one to give you advice. Has he given you advice?
I must say everybody's been very helpful. All the jockeys have been really helpful, and any advice that I need about the place, Zach and Nicole have been really good to myself and Morgan. Nash Warilla and his wife Sarah have also been a great help. Neil and Trish Callan's been really good, and also riders in Sydney that have ridden here, Tim Clark and Tommy Berry has been really good help to me as well. So everybody's been very helpful and making us feel very welcome.
Certain people tell me that you're quite reserved, you're not that outgoing. Do you think that's true?
Oh, not necessarily. You know, I think part of Hong Kong racing is being your own, you know, being able to sell yourself and networking with a different range of people. And look, when I first started, I was probably a little bit shy, but I think as I've matured over the years, I'd probably tend to disagree with that a little bit. You know, I enjoy getting out there and selling myself and meeting new people. I think that's one of the great things of the industry, is the wide variety of people you meet. And I think that's, you know, it's very important to be able to do that in Hong Kong racing, because as I said, you need to be able to sell yourself. You know, it's something that I've had to learn to do, but like I said, I think over the last 2-3 years, I've been able to mature and get myself out there a lot more.
Do you think Hong Kong's going to help you in developing, you know, in that way, in that you're going to mature probably faster than you would if you were in Sydney?
Most certainly. You know, it's going to make me grow as not only as a person but as a rider. You know, all these new experiences can definitely do no harm. So, you know, like I said, I'm really enjoying the challenge. I'm loving every bit of it, and you know, I've got a 3-month contract, but it's always been a dream of mine to ride in Hong Kong. This is where I've wanted to end up in my career. So to finally be here at a young age, it's a real privilege, and hopefully I can stay for the rest of the season.
What attracted you to Hong Kong? Why did you really want to come here and ride? Because you've been doing really well in Sydney. Yeah, things have been going really well in Sydney. I've been rode 2 Group 1 winners over the Autumn Carnival. Was getting a lot of support off all the top trainers, John O'Shea and Godolphin, Gay Waterhouse, Peter and Paul Snowden. All the big names are giving me a lot of support. But I don't know. I think
Hong Kong racing, it seems to be the pinnacle. You know, it's such a tough and competitive environment, and it seems to go, that seems to go right through the year. You got the world's best jockeys riding here. I mean, you got the world's best jockeys in Sydney as well, but you know, they all come to Hong Kong at some stage, and for me personally, this is the pinnacle. This is where I want to be.
You're about to ride in Happy Valley for the first time, but looking at what you've seen from Happy Valley, have you done track work here?
I've had a couple of barrier trials, yes.
Right. So what do you think of the two setups? How do they differ, Sha Tin and Happy Valley?
Sha Tin's obviously a very roomy track. It's a very large track, big long run-ins from all the starts, and obviously a big long straight. Where Happy Valley, you know, it's very tight and creates for some very exciting racing, not only for the jockeys and participants, but also the crowd and the spectators. It makes for, you know, a great atmosphere. The crowd gets very close to the action, and you know, it's a bit of an amphitheatre. It's nearly like a stadium here, so it makes it all a very big spectacle. And as a rider, you really seem to lift with the atmosphere. So it's definitely going to be very exciting to ride here.
So if you have a long-term plan, you know, what would it be right now?
Long-term plan would be to stay here. Work as hard as possible, obviously, but you know, look, if you know, all going well, I'd like to see myself being here for the next few years. Obviously, it all depends on how it'll go, but my goal is to be here for, you know, the next few years, work as hard as possible, and hopefully have a lot of success, and then we'll go from there.
Have you ridden with any of the boys here back in Sydney?
Yeah. Obviously, I've ridden with Zach a lot, and Joe. Both those two riders come to Sydney and Melbourne regularly. So I know those two riders very well. Obviously Nash, grew up riding with Nash in Sydney. And then a lot of the other guys just basically first time riding with them. But they're all very skilled riders and skilled horsemen, and that's why they're competing here on the world stage.
Have you beaten Zach and Joe in any races?
I've beaten Joe a couple of times over the carnival. Not sure if I've beaten Zach. I might have beat him once or twice, but one thing's for sure, they're very tough to beat here and anywhere they go in the world. So they're both world-class riders, and it's great to be riding against them and learning off them as well.
Do you feel that the jockeys riding here, you know, there's more of a friendship, a camaraderie that maybe you don't get in Sydney because Hong Kong's a smaller place, or is it the same?
It's a bit different. One thing about Hong Kong, it's all very tight. There's only the two tracks. A lot of the jockeys live out at Sha Tin, so we're all living among one another, and I think that creates a sense of definitely a sense of community. The racing community is very tight here, and a lot of camaraderie too. It is very competitive amongst the riders, but it definitely creates a community-like feel. But I think that's probably anywhere you go in the world. I think the racing industry is generally a very tight industry and very tight-knit industry, and there's definitely a lot of camaraderie between the jockeys and the trainers and the owners and everybody involved.
So what's next for you now? I mean, as far as advancing in Hong Kong's concerned, now that you've ridden once?
I'd love to get a winner on the board. That'd be great. But look, all I can do is just is ride well and do the job that I'm employed to do, and that's to give my mounts every possible chance in winning the race. I feel if I can do that and continue to work hard, well, the success will come. And then hopefully we're here for a few years' time and riding the big winners like Joe and Zach and all the other top riders here. That's my dream.
Some nice shoes.
Yeah, this is recently purchased in Hong Kong. Very wonderful buy, I think. The shopping here in Hong Kong is phenomenal, so we're having a great time, me and Morgan, that's for sure.
I couldn't help but notice the shoes.
I actually have a, I didn't wear them tonight, but good pair of racing socks that are my lucky socks. They got jockeys and horses all over them, so I should have worn them. Would have been good for the cameras.
If we're showing you the socks, but you should take a pair for Brenton.
Yeah, I might. Well, when he comes over here, probably in International Day for a look, we'll have to take him shopping.
So in Sydney, you're pretty good friends with Brenton and Tommy and
Yeah, Brenton, Tommy, Tim Clark, Kerry McAvoy. We're all Ty England. We're all. It's a bit like here. The Sydney racing is very tight. You know, at the end of the day, we're riding against each other 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week. So even though it's very fierce out on the track, we have to be around each other every day. So you know, it's very like I said, it's very competitive out in the track. But in the jockey's room, there's a lot of banter and a lot of jokes, and it makes for a lot of fun.
Well, if Morgan doesn't have anything to do, ask her to come up to Adrenaline, be at the band.
We'll do. I'm sure she'll love it here. It's a great setup, and it looks like later on tonight there'll be a great vibe around the place.
It should be. All right, mate. Thanks a lot.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Take care.
But here's the first one for the young Australian hoop, Sam Clipperton. Ace King wins it easily.